The untold history of Vermont. Vermont's history is unlike any other. Long before it became America's 14th state, this rugged land of rolling hills, forests, and mountain passes was a place of fierce independence, revolutionary ideals, and rich cultural roots. The earliest known inhabitants were Native American tribes, primarily the Abenaki people. They lived along Vermont's rivers and lakes, hunting, fishing, and building communities among the thick forests. Their spiritual connection to the land remains a deep and sacred thread woven into Vermont's identity. In the early 1600s, French explorer Samuel de Champlain arrived and gave Lake Champlain its name. The French laid claim to the region and engaged in fur trading, but it wasn't long before the British challenged their presence, igniting tensions that would continue for over a century. Vermont's position between New France and British colonies led to fierce territorial disputes. Both New Hampshire and New York claimed Vermont as their own, issuing conflicting land grants to settlers. This chaos fueled the rise of the Green Mountain Boys, a militia led by Ethan Allen, who fiercely defended Vermont landowners from New York's control. The Green Mountain Boys would go on to become heroes of the American Revolution, famously capturing Fort Ticonderoga in 1775 and setting the tone for Vermont's independent spirit. In 1777, Vermont took the bold step of declaring itself an independent republic, before it was ever part of the United States. It created its own constitution, which, ahead of its time, abolished slavery, offered universal male suffrage, with some property requirements, and established public schools. The Republic of Vermont even printed its own currency and operated as a de facto nation for 14 years. Eventually, Vermont agreed to join the Union in 1791, becoming the first state added to the original 13 colonies. But its revolutionary legacy and spirit of self-reliance never faded. Throughout the 19th century, Vermont played key roles in various movements. It was a strong voice in the abolitionist cause, sending soldiers to fight in the Civil War and supporting the Underground Railroad. At the same time, the state's agricultural backbone grew with dairy farming, maple syrup production, and wool mills. Vermont towns became known for their close-knit communities, white-steepled churches, and classic New England charm. In the 20th century, Vermont continued to blaze its own trail. It resisted over-industrialization, preserved large swaths of natural land, and prioritized environmental sustainability. In fact, it became one of the first states to emphasize organic farming, green energy, and small-scale local economies. Today, Vermont is known not only for its history but also for its fierce independence, quirky creativity, and deep respect for nature. It's the home of Ben and Jerry's, Bernie Sanders, covered bridges, maple syrup, and the kind of charm you can only find off the beaten path. The hidden secrets and mysteries of Vermont. Beneath Vermont's postcard-perfect scenery lies a world of eerie legends, unsolved mysteries, and whispered stories passed down through generations. This peaceful-looking state, draped in maple trees and mountain fog, hides some truly strange and fascinating tales. Tucked away in the southwestern corner of the state is the Bennington Triangle, an area where people, planes, and logic seem to disappear. Between 1945 and 1950, several people vanished without a trace near Glastonbury Mountain. No bodies were found. No clues. Just open wilderness and chilling silence. The most famous case was that of Paula Weldon, an 18-year-old college student who set out for a hike on the long trail, and was never seen again. Search parties combed the area for weeks. The FBI even got involved. But she was gone, as if the woods swallowed her whole. Locals speak of strange lights, ghost sightings, and a strange energy in the forest that makes people feel watched or disoriented. Glastonbury itself is considered a ghost town with a cursed past. Once a thriving logging town, it was abandoned after fires, floods, and financial collapse plagued it again and again. Today, it's a ghost town in the truest sense, and hikers often report eerie sensations, sudden shifts in weather, or an overwhelming feeling that they're not alone. Then there's the tale of the Pigmen of Northfield, a creepy local legend that sounds like a horror movie but is told with real fear by locals. In 1971, a group of teens claimed to see a creature with a man's body and the head of a pig roaming the woods. Some say it was a disfigured boy who disappeared years earlier and turned feral. Others believe he was summoned through dark rituals. To this day, some refuse to walk the woods near Northfield at night. Vermont also has its share of haunted places. The Emily's Bridge legend is among the most famous. In the quiet town of Stowe, a narrow wooden bridge is said to be haunted by the ghost of a heartbroken young woman named Emily, who supposedly hung herself there after being jilted at the altar. Visitors have reported scratches on their cars, disembodied screams, and ghostly sightings on the bridge. Whether real or folklore, Emily's Bridge draws ghost hunters and thrill seekers year-round. And it wouldn't be Vermont without some Bigfoot buzz. In the dense Green Mountains, reports of large, hairy humanoids go back centuries. The Abenaki people told stories of a wild man of the forest, and modern sightings have continued well into the 2000s. Locals talk of strange footprints, howling noises in the night, and broken trees deep in the woods. There's also the mystery of the floating coffins at Evergreen Cemetery in New Haven. In a particular mausoleum, locals noticed that sealed caskets inside had shifted, flipped, or even stood upright, without explanation and with no signs of disturbance. Some say it's just gravity or time. Others believe the spirits inside are restless. From haunted bridges and vanishing hikers to creatures in the woods and restless spirits, Vermont proves that even the quietest places hold the loudest secrets. It's a state where legends live in the trees and shadows linger just beyond the lamplight. Whether you believe or not, the stories will make you look over your shoulder a little more often. Where to stay in Vermont? Vermont is full of charming inns, rustic lodges, and serene mountain retreats that make you feel like you've stepped into a fairy tale. If you're in Burlington, the Hotel Vermont offers sleek, modern comfort with a local twist, while the Made in Vermont is a quirky, artistic B&B with major personality. For a more romantic or rural escape, the Inn at Shelburne Farms gives you lakefront elegance with historic vibes and stunning sunsets. In Stowe, the Trapp Family Lodge, yes, from the Sound of Music family, combines alpine charm with mountain views and trails perfect for hiking or skiing. If you're chasing fall foliage or snow-covered scenes, Woodstock Inn and Resort is the definition of classic Vermont. Over in Manchester, the Equinox Resort blends colonial architecture, spa luxury, and outdoor adventure. Want something unique? Vermont's got cozy frame cabins, off-the-grid yurts, or farm stays where you can collect eggs in the morning and sip cider by night. Where to eat in Vermont? Food in Vermont is comforting, fresh, and often locally sourced. The farm-to-table scene here isn't just trendy, it's a way of life. In Burlington, try Hen of the Wood for a seasonal fine dining experience using ingredients grown right down the road. For breakfast or brunch, Penny Clue's Cafe is a staple for sweet potato fries, rich coffee, and scratch-made everything. American Flatbread in Burlington is also a fan favorite, wood-fired pizza paired with Vermont craft beer? Yes, please. If you're in Montpelier, try Kismet for organic, creative dishes in an artsy setting. In Middlebury, the Arcadian offers a cozy mix of Italian and French cuisine with a Vermont twist. Don't skip out on local creameries. Visit Jasper Hill Farm or Shelburne Farms for some of the best cheeses in the country. Maple syrup lovers should hit a sugar house in season. Moore's Farm Maple Sugar Works near Montpelier lets you taste warm syrup right off the tap. And of course, this is the land of Ben & Jerry's. Take the factory tour in Waterbury, snap a photo at the Flavor Graveyard, and sample flavors you won't find anywhere else. What to expect from Vermont's culture? Vermont culture is a mix of independence, creativity, and deep connection to nature. People here are proud of their land, their community, and their values. Expect to find towns where everyone waves to each other, artists selling handmade goods at weekend markets, and farmers sharing their harvest at co-ops. It's a state that leans green, not just politically, but environmentally. Sustainability, slow living, and supporting local businesses are part of the everyday lifestyle. Whether you're at a cafe in Brattleboro or a ski lodge in Killington, you'll see that love for the earth and simplicity is everywhere. Vermont is also incredibly inclusive and artsy. Burlington, in particular, has a thriving LGBTQ+ community, lots of live music, and an emphasis on the creative arts. Folk music festivals, poetry readings, and quirky local events like leaf peeping tours and snowshoe races are part of the Vermont rhythm. Don't be surprised if you find yourself sipping cider by a fireplace, listening to live bluegrass, and thinking, I could get used to this. Vermont is a state that surprises you. Beneath its peaceful landscapes lies a rich history, mysterious legends, and a culture that's warm, creative, and deeply connected to the land. Whether you're chasing ghost stories, savoring fresh maple syrup, or relaxing in a mountain inn, Vermont offers an experience that's as unforgettable as it is unique.